there, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here, and welcome to a brand new day of more stories to talk about. And I'm excited about talking about all three of these stories actually today, because they're all pretty meaty. They got a lot to, provide us, and content, of course. And yeah, just a lot to think about, a lot to talk about. So let's get right on into it. Now, I will say this though. I'm a little saddened by this video here. Yeah, I mean, what is going on with this friendship? I mean, what are we doing here? Why are they messing with my emotional well-being with this show? Now, look, we all know that part of the Real Housewives of anything, it's always about the drama and hopefully the comeback together so they can move on forward so they can have new drama later on, right? We see alliances shift all the time. This is nothing really new. But one thing that does sadden me is when what appears to have been a real friendship off camera for many years turns into a complete utter meltdown of the Sugar on Honey Iced Tea show in front of the cameras, so that has been something that has been really perplexing to me with what seems to be the fallout of Shamea and Porsha's relationship. I mean, their friendship of over 20 years now. Now, you remember when Mia and Jasmine had their issues on RHOP, and I think there's a lot going on back there with their history, but they seem to have found a way to come back together at this point and still be able to share the screen. But we all know that it was really touch and go for their friendship, and there for a while was a bit of a fallout that at least lasted between seasons. And then we got some revelations that came about in which Mia had shared in regards to past essay that happened to her and her past, and during the time of the early years of her friendship with Jacqueline. So with that, it opened up another dialogue of things to talk about and things to address for them, and I think they've come to a better place now at this point. But coming back on here to RHOA, to see that we all know that Porsha right now is pretty much famously going through a divorce, right? Her second divorce from Simon Guobadia, and I might be actually plugging in on a couple of stories that I'll be sharing with you later on too this week. So definitely make sure you keep your all notification bells on, because we're probably going to be getting into it because there's some updates and some new information in regards to their divorce proceedings. So we know that Porsha is going through it right now in regards to that. No matter whichever side you stand on when it comes to that union in the first place. But it is becoming a situation where Porsha is basically letting us know on camera, on the show, that, hey, she's struggling and she really didn't have the bandwidth, I like to say, to really address and deal with the issues that she's having with her best friend, Shamea. And that's sometimes how it does happen. Now, we can't use all of our issues that we may have with other people to, crap on somebody else or to avoid accountability when it's need be, but it's obviously definitely used and utilized in that way. When you find yourself in a position, sometimes we just need to take a break and can't, deal with this at this point. So that's what we're seeing a lot of. There is speculation that's been talking about in regards to maybe there could be a deeper issue going on there, like maybe there might be some issues with the fact that Shamea is now an actual full-blown peach holder, which to me personally just seems like, because Shamea has been part of the franchise as a friend for a long time. So we know Shamea. So I was really looking forward to Shamea actually coming online, right? And in that full gamut of a position, and really being there with Porsha and seeing, more of them together in their friendship. So I was actually looking forward to it. I didn't see that as a setback. So we'll just have to see how that all shapes up. But if you may have been watching this past Sunday, which it has been airing, we're getting closer and closer to the season finale. But right now, as of the recording and filming and uploading of this video, we're at May 22nd. So the past Sunday is, which I think was the 18th of May, is the episode where we actually got to see the sit down of the two ladies on RHOA. And the week prior, which would have been probably the 15th or something like that, that Sunday on Watch What Happens Live, which I am an avid watcher of that, Shamea was actually on with another guest, and her name, escapes me at the moment, but was definitely, in her feels about what potentially seemed to be maybe the demise of that friendship. And, Andy asked a lot of poignant questions. Shamea seemed very transparent and open to talk about whatever, did not shy away from those questions. And so that was something that really just kind of broke my heart, because there was real emotion there, especially from Shamea, right? Like, you could see the sensitivity surrounding that. Like, she really is hurting and upset through this situation. Not to mention, she's going through her own, situations in regards to continuing on with expanding their family and all of the things that come in when it comes to that. So there's a lot happening for the ladies, right? That's just what it is. No one is immune to it. But it definitely just was so heartbreaking to see these two ladies that are really into very difficult times in their life at this moment, not being able to come together and be support for each other without all of this. But sometimes when you're going through these types of issues, it does bring up other things that just, look, sometimes timing is just bad, right? And you just need to get it out. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into some more details regarding this, which I hope is a temporary fallout. Andy feels it might be temporary also. Shamea, she's like, I'll have to see. I don't know. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. All right. So our sharing is actually coming from bravotv.com. And it is sharing that Shamea leaves RHOA after show in tears amid the hurtful Porsha fallout. Hear her hot mic rant. So we're going to go ahead and read into what was going on with that. And I'm going to assume that this after show is the one that happens directly after the Watch What Happens Live premiering. So let's get into it. It says, given their decades of history, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Shamea Morton and Porsha Williams' friendship has naturally endured plenty of ups and downs. Now, the childhood besties appear to reach an all-time low, though, after Shamea ascended to full-time peach holder for season 16. Now, the Real Housewives of Atlanta after show for episode 11, Shamea had got emotional while discussing what happened once the public started picking up on the division in their relationship, along with the fact that the once tight duo was not really speaking anymore. She says, I've gotten so many DMs and messages, and even to those, I still have grace because it's hurtful. Shamea began as her voice began to break. And the stuff that people have said, I wanted to tell you a long time ago that your friend ain't your friend, and she don't want you in this space with her. She don't want to share this platform with you. That's when Shamea, overcome with emotion, tearfully told producers she needed a minute, got up and walked off the RHOA after show set, prompting Kelly Farrell to say, I really hate that for her. Now, off camera, Kelly went to check on her castmate, and their hot mics picked up their conversations. I didn't want to do this sugar on honey iced tea for the longest time because I was being respectful of the fact that this is her space, Shamea vented to Kelly backstage. I just want it to be okay. Like, this is your thing. I don't need this. I'm happy with the life I'm living off camera, but I thought we could show people like how great our friendship is. Following a little power speech from Kelly, which you can also hear there's a clip that's going around in regards to that. The after show clip, however, Shamea returned fully charged, joking about being on some crying sugar honey on iced tea. I love saying that. And it's also a way so the sisters don't pick up. Anyways, so now Shamea Morton and Porsha Williams opened up about their friendship. So now, prior to her walk-off, Shamea had named Angela Oakley, Britt Eady, and Drew Sidora as the castmates who have accused Porsha of not being a good friend to her. In their view, she explained Porsha did not support or speak up for her the same way she did for her. Interesting. But I never gave them anything, she insisted. So the fact that Porsha opens up for them to judge and evaluate and to dictate our friendship and what it was and what it was not, that's on her. As Shamea was concerned, she had been supporting everything Porsha, including promoting her song, Flatline. Remember that? The Flatline? I actually came across the YouTube channel video for it. It just popped up in my For You, and I actually didn't even know she had sung the song and did a whole video for it. But it was probably about a year or two ago now at this point. But yeah, I was like, oh, look at here. Porsha over here trying to be a whole, pop star in these streets. But yeah, so anyways, now on Instagram and asking DJs to play it. She also called inviting Porsha to sing the national anthem with her at various sporting events. Because you remember there was a scene in this current season where Shamea was sharing a song that really sounded really good. And Porsha throwing what felt like, underlined and not so underlined, aggressive, but not so aggressive, maybe passive type of shade, thinking that it was Drew instead of her friend. And she's like, wait a minute, you don't know your friend's voice? Yeah, so that was a bit, anyways, shady, as I like to say. She says, I want you to win just like I want to win, Shamea added. And I really believe that about Shamea. I really do believe that Shamea is just that kind of girl's girl type of thing. She gives me that girl's girl vibe. Even with all of that she has, it's one of the things that you can say, look, you are blessed with so much. So what so much that you're blessed with, what do you have to complain and cry about, right? But the fact that she seems like a really good person at the same time, and she does seem to be like that, supportive of whatever y'all are doing. And still in her way, trying to achieve things for herself as well, right? So elsewhere, Porsha described the worst thing happening when Shamea joined RHOA full-time, something she claimed she wanted to celebrate, and the other women pitted them against each other. Referencing their episode 11 sit down, she explained, I just wanted to really get into the nitty-gritty of what was happening. That's what I was really fighting for at that point. Now, Shamea Morton makes a fourth wall breaking declaration on Porsha Williams. She says you could cut the tension with a knife during the Dougal's aforementioned lunch meeting in RHOA's May 18th episode, which is the past episode I was just referencing. As they unpacked their issues in an attempt to possibly salvage their friendship, ultimately, Shamea felt Porsha was being dismissive of her feelings, though. And yeah, it did kind of come across that way. As it turns out, though, Shamea and Porsha first became tight when they were little girls because of their mothers, who have since had their own falling out and were also best friends. Talk about, how things kind of just continue on through the generations sometimes. Now, Shamea brought up that she was really hurt that Porsha had pulled back from their friendship after her mom, Miss Diane, said she couldn't trust her because apples don't fall from the tree. Now, one may could say the same thing to Miss Diane about Porsha. You know what I'm saying? How this is going to flip either way, okay? So now when Porsha denied doing that, Shamea broke the fourth wall. If you're not going to be honest about things that happened off camera, then why are we doing it? Shamea asked. I just told you the other day, I said, Porsha, I wish we could be the way we were off camera, on camera. And you know what you said? They would have had to pay me more money for that. Imagine that. Now, why can't we be that way? Why can't we be how we are off camera, on camera? Now, despite tearfully trying to avoid an argument for the show, Porsha contended that Shamea was not allowing that dynamic to play out. Okay. So you can't put a dollar amount on that, Shamea responded. I wanted you to do that because you love me and you enjoy being around me, not because you want to get paid to do it. This is scary that this show has caused you to sit here and try to argue with me, Porsha vented, to which Shamea shot back. This is scary that the show has caused you to not be honest about your feelings. I want the Porsha that's not on camera. The fact that you have minimized my feelings to be about this show is really unfortunate because it's not about the show for me. How Shamea Morton and Porsha Williams' friendship conversation ended? Well, unable to fight back her tears any longer, Porsha did what? She excused herself in a very dramatic way, I must say, to the restroom. And upon returning, they got their food to go and never really dug much deeper into their underlying issues. I really hate that you couldn't finish your food and we were leaving here without resolve because I definitely came for that, Shamea said. So I'll just continue to pray for us. Now, after Porsha explained that she was just a little overwhelmed, Shamea admitted to sometimes masking her feelings and handling their friendship with care because she knows Porsha is often in a fragile phase, especially amid her ongoing divorce from Simon Guobadia. I don't want to upset you or bring you more grief or more drama, she told Porsha, but I also want you to find the bandwidth to care about things that hurt me. And I don't want to feel like I'm being dismissed. And I think that's fair, right? At the end of the day, a relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is, a friendship one, relationship, family, is being familiar or romantic or whatever the case may be, if it's a relationship that is built to last, then you have to participate in it. And that's just what it is. Now, with her voice breaking, Porsha replied, I don't want to break up with you, Shamea. I want us to get past this. I don't want this for us. I'm sorry, okay? Now, Shamea returned the apology, and after joining hands across the table and vowed to discuss their issues one-on-one moving forward, they exchanged I love yous and hugged it out. As Porsha summarized in a confessional, I'm just hoping that we can get back to a better place and move on. As the two continue to work towards repairing their friendship on RHOA, don't miss how Shamea reacted to Porsha's recent birthday tribute, which apparently is circulating as well. So, I would love to know your thoughts about this because at the end of the day, I feel really, really sad for Shamea especially, and yeah, Porsha too. I mean, at the end of the day, Porsha's going through a thing, right? She's having such an issue when it comes to the divorce situation and just not being able to get to a place of, resolving that. That is taking on a huge, direction at this point when it comes to, Simon's ICE detention as well and how that's playing out. And of course, the divorce is playing out for the entire world to see. So that's got to be difficult. Not to also mention maybe the feelings about, wow, we had a family, we were together, this was a thing, and now it's all fell apart and it didn't last very long. And, there's probably some embarrassment, some blame attached to that as well. There's so many, dynamics at play here at this point. But one thing I do say about this is you can never, ever, ever set aside the real friendships that you have, even if you need to take a moment away from them, because sometimes that does happen. Sometimes you do have to take a space. But if you find yourself in a position where you're constantly coming back to letting your friend know what's going on, and then you're the type that doesn't want to continue to keep doing that, because like, for instance, I believe Shamea is a Taurus and I'm a Taurus. And so I understand exactly how she feels, because she's already kind of put stuff out there, and I don't think she's interested in keep having that same conversation. At this point, I'm of this way anyways. Once I've told you already and you've known me for this amount of time, I shouldn't have to continue to keep having this conversation with you, because then it just feels like, okay, maybe we need a break. Maybe at the end of the day, if I've already shared with you what you've got going on, and although I'm not necessarily, and I'm kind of like Shamea as well, I think in that way too, as far as historians are concerned, sometimes we will take on our own things for a very long time. But at the same time, and we give and give and give, right? But at the same time, if we're going through stuff too, we need to make sure that's reciprocated, whenever it's that time. And it may never be that time for a long period of time, but when it is that time and you're not there, okay, look, but so much bandwidth out here, which I'll take that from Porsha, because I say that often. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with this, but but I will now apply it to Shamea. Sometimes you just don't have the bandwidth for all of that, because we value our friendships, we value our relationships, we value what is dear and important to us, and we don't like to see it, shattered over some foolishness, right? Because a lot of times for us, once it's done, right? There's no coming back. So we're going to make sure we're really sure we want to cut that tie. And once that tie is cut, a lot of times that's it. I mean, it takes a lot to get back to, a place of comfortability, and let alone being able to get to where we were before that fallout. So I'm really hoping that Porsha will take stock in understanding and really listening to Shamea. I understand she's going through a lot, but understand Shamea's got her stuff too, and understand that you guys have a friendship, and also understand that y'all's friendship was before all of this stuff that you're dealing with right now. So there needs to be some kind of grace given for both sides, of course, and I do hope that at some point they will bring themselves back together. I kind of feel like if we see any real movement in that direction, it'll probably be in the next season. And I'm here for it. I'm here for RHOA, till the wheels fall off. And I'm hoping that won't fall off anytime soon. Right now, we're kind of skirting a little bit off to the side, but I'm hanging in there because I'm a trooper. I'm a true blue. I'm a true blue. But anyways, yeah, it just really broke my heart to see Shamea, because I really felt that it came from such a, personal place and very authentic, and she really is upset. I mean, it's real, right? The tears are real, and you can feel it because you can feel it through the screen, so if you can't feel the screen, or you don't see a tear actually falling down, that's usually not an authentic situation. We all know that, but you could literally feel the tension and you can feel the hurt. And so I'm hoping at some point things will settle down enough for the ladies to find some way, even if it's off camera, to get back together and talk and work it out and duke it out and get a great understanding of how this is supposed to go in front of the camera, as well as how they should have already had the understanding of how it would go off camera. So that being said, I think that'll about do for this video. I would love to know your thoughts, so please go ahead and leave us respectfully down in the comment section. Share with me what you're thinking about when it comes to this, situation with this follow. If you're watching this show and you have interest, right? I just definitely would like to know what you're thinking. I do feel like if Porsha doesn't stretch this out too far, then they won't hit the point of no return. But I do feel if she continues on this path and they get to that point of return, there will be no return, because Shamea will have been done. Yes. So that's how that goes, right? So, but with that, again, I think I wish you would definitely leave your thoughts. definitely have your all notification bells on, because I'm going to be dropping on at least 2 more videos for today, and obviously many more in the future as well. But definitely 2 more videos for today. And I'm definitely going to want to know your thoughts, because so much is going on, right? So much is going on. And yeah, I just appreciate when you take the time to hang out with me for a little bit. Definitely, too, if you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, be part of the family. I would so love to have you. And I appreciate all of you that are already part of the family, because I always definitely appreciate your viewing and listening support. It means the world to me. So with that, I'm going to take off for right now, but I will see you later. Bye.